Woods is the worst map in Escape from Tarkov, is what an idiot would say. That title belongs to Factory. No, Lighthouse. You see, once the cheap thrills of the flashier maps wear off, and you're left standing there with a handle in your hand, you're gonna start to notice something. The culture of Woods. The whiskey, the cigars. This map has class. And loot. Tons of loot. And I'm not just talking about food loot either. That's what I used to think. No. I'm talking about real shrimp, steak, liquor, and pasta type loot. Oh yes. So today, I'm gonna educate you young Tarkovians. It's time to put the wood shaming to bed. Let's do this. Now I'm gonna try real hard not to just feed you the fish, but instead teach you how to dive into the lake and grab that motherfucker with your bare hands. Like for example, everyone knows that attachment cabin has great loot inside on the table. But you know these little green wooden boxes just outside? Boxes of ammo spawn next to these fairly regularly across the entirety of Woods, so be on the lookout. Arm yourself with knowledge, not just ammo, but also arm yourself with this ammo. It's pretty good stuff. Now let's talk about ZBO14 for a second, because it's not too far off from the attachment cabin. Oh, and by the way, I found this map on the Tarkov wiki that's higher quality than anything I used in my 11 years in the Texas curriculum. So we're gonna use that shit. Seriously, these guys need to start making maps for the goddamn Marines or something, because this talent is wasted on gamers like us. But we sure do appreciate it. Anyways, come with me inside of this bunker here. There's something we must discuss. The amount of times I come down into these bunkers after I know someone has already been in here and I see good loot left laying on the ground is too much. In all 4 of the bunkers across Woods, please check the ground in front of the walls. You can find expensive crafting items, fuel, good stuff, man. Alright, just outside ZBO14 near these couple of vehicles, there's a loot spawn on this piece of wall that's laying down on the ground. Kek tape is a part of tool loot, and a lot of that stuff is worth good money. I know this isn't the most exciting thing, but hey, it's pretty hidden, right? All right, now backtrack with me just a smidge here because I need to talk about these deer stands that you'll find all across the map. A lot of them have toolboxes at the base of them that you can loot. And if they don't, a lot of them have loose loot laying on the ground. I found relays and other tech loot there, so you could potentially get something pretty awesome. All right, friendly reminder that this video is about hidden loot. I know I'm gonna pass up a lot of good loot spawns, but I didn't want to go over every single little spawn because I thought that would be boring. But real quick, before we leave this southwest section of the map, here at Dead Man's Place, there is a lootable dead scav and a duffel bag. Here in the middle of these woods, there is a marked circle with some decent loot. And all the way up here at the checkpoint, there is a black SUV. Check the driver's side seat for a violet keycard spawn. Very expensive. I feel like a weatherman. Alright, let's meander on north and head to a popular tourist destination, the USSEC camp. Most of you probably already figured out that there's great loot here, but I do see people miss stuff all the time. Like in the back of this vehicle, there's a black weapons crate. These can spawn the green Iskra lunchboxes that you need so many of at the beginning of a wipe. But more importantly, did you know that the sandbags around the tent can have armor spawns, including, but not limited to, trooper armor, which is class 4, great stuff. Also, you know these little cots laying beneath this giant rock? In between the cot and the rock wall, gold spawn. That's what I call a spawn that has silver, gold, bronze, different metals, all high value stuff. Alright, before we leave here, make sure to climb up on top of the giant rock like you did when you were young. And check for the M4 spawn, like you did when you were young. Moving just a little bit farther north to the next part of the camp, please don't miss out on the medical table next to the tent. On it and beneath it, you can find high-value stuff like ophthalmoscopes, ibuprofen, golden star, you name it. I've even found moonshine up here. The fake loot and the real loot blend together, so please do look carefully. While we're on the topic of moonshine, you can find that all across Woods and various places where meds or food spawns. It's actually more common than I think people realize. Alright, one last little piece of brain knowledge I need to teach you before we leave the USSEC camp. You know those fake fuel cans used as decoration all across Tarkov? Well, those can actually be spawns for real fuel cans too. This happens a ton on Reserve. They use this trick all the time over there, but it's here on Woods too. So just like with the wooden green boxes, you'll look for ammo, when you see these fake fuel cans, make sure you look extra closely for real fuel. We're gonna skip over Scav Bunker and whatever this is called because the loot there is pretty easy to find. However, Scav Bridge is home to one of the cheekiest loot spawns in all of Tarkov. Just off to the left of the bridge, there is a dead Scav. Been dead since the dawn of time. He's like a gumball machine. Oftentimes you get a great flavor like red or blue. But even when you get a stinky flavor like white or yellow, you're still getting gum. This dead Scav has amazing loot. He's like something out of a folk legend. You're more often than not gonna be impressed with what you find on him. Heck, just the other day I found something called a slick and it vendor defense for a whole 100k. I was stoked. I'm just kidding, I didn't vendor the slick. That was a joke inspired by a community member who actually does vendor their slicks. Does that hurt you as much as it hurts me? Alright, it's time to talk about the area that probably shocked me the most as far as what I didn't know was there. Just east of the Scav Bridge, you have the Sunken Village. This place has many secrets. Let me show you a few. First of all, in most of the buildings here, make sure to check the floors and corners of the rooms for gold spawns. The amount of gold chains I found in these houses is unreal. Inside this house, there's a tent. Check just inside of it and around it for good loot. Pro tip, check every tent across Tarkov for the same reason. This house here, south of the pond, there's a cache inside. The bush in front of the cache has gold spawns, guitar picks, skull rings, high value stuff. It's just a little hard to see because it's inside of a bush. The doorway in this room, gold spawn. Then jump across the rocks and head towards the church. At the bottom of this boat submerged in water, gold spawn. Inside the top of the church, gold spawn. Then jump across the river and head left to get to the boathouse. Inside here, in the boat, gold and tool spawns. Now head across the road and look inside this boat. 4 gold spawns. Are you tired of hearing me say that? Well, I'm tired of trying to make you rich. Not really, let's keep going. Honestly, I never knew this village had so many high value spawns. It blew my mind. And I didn't even mention the mark circle. You can check that too for good stuff, of course. Oh, and I didn't even show you the craziest one yet. Inside this upside down boat. Come on, get down here with me. Crawl under it, stand up, turn around, look up. Oh, who put that there? Must have been my little editor here, who just woke up from a nap. Before we leave this area, I thought it was worth mentioning that the end of this dock here has a few food spawns on it. I thought that was kind of nifty. Now this next stop isn't marked on any map made by mortal men that I bothered to look up. I need to show you what's right here. Bear Car. Now why they call it that, no one knows. But it's here, and you need to know about it. Alright, now let's keep heading east to a place I like to call the Village. I'm sure you've also been here before and know that each one of these houses has food loot in it, big and small. All of these food spawns can also be moonshine, remember that. Now did you know that there's actually a graphics card spawn here as well? On the east side of the road at the big house. Head inside all the way to the back and take a left. Once inside that room, check the ground on the left for a small box. It's gonna have all types of tech loot inside, including graphics cards. While you're down on the ground, make sure to check under the bed as well. In fact, check under every bed you come across on woods, because most of them can spawn loot underneath. Alright, walk with me out back here. There's a puddle of mud that we need to look at very closely. No, not the band. I'm telling you, woods is full of many mysteries and secrets. One of which is this little ammo spawn beneath the small dock. Oh, and there's also a Bitcoin spawn down there too, if you care about that. Alright, next I want to take you over to Sniper Rock because there's a few very important things you need to know about there. Let's head up the path and take a right. You may or may not have known about this little camping setup here and the valuable loot that can spawn in and around it. Check very carefully, including under the ground, because loot can actually spawn underneath the top surface. So what you do is you just stand there, look down, and use the loot indicator to see if there's anything there. Then lay down, free look down, and swivel until you find the loot. It's usually like a gold chain or something really small. Pick it up though, it's great money. Now let's swing over to the left side of the path up the mountain. There's green crates up here, which means what? Ammo spawns, yep. And then inside the bunker all the way at the end, you have gold and statue spawns. Don't miss it. Can I ask you guys a question? When Mechanic wants you to go find a note left by the crazy old man who likes to ask you to do things such as get naked in the middle of the woods and dehydrate yourself to the point of near death, do you ever notice that down plane in the background? Well, you should, because it's actually got great loot. Just the other day, I found a moonshine near the cockpit. That sounds funny. And there's also a ton of loot in and around the dirt pit left by the plane crash. You just need to check very carefully because sometimes this stuff can seriously blend in. But I found lions, ophthalmoscopes, other high value meds, good food, tons of stuff around that plane, and it seems like nobody knows about it. But now you know about it. And that makes me happy. If this video helped you out, then hit the subscribe button for me. I love making content for you guys, and your free sub helps give me the motivation to keep going. Obviously, I didn't go over every single woods loot spawn in this video, just the ones that I felt like were hidden, whatever that means. I also want to thank my patrons who help fund videos like this one. I appreciate you guys. Thanks to y'all, I can take a day off of Twitch and have a day on YouTube. If you're still here, consider checking out the time I completed the guide without my W key, or whatever my most recent video is. See ya!